ever since I started playing guitar, I always wanted a Fender Strat. Yeah, this video isn't about Fender Strats. As I got older through playing, I tried a Les Paul and I found it really hard to go back. Les Pauls have a very certain thing about them, and they're just such a beautiful guitar. They're such a coveted guitar. And this is going to explore 5 reasons why I reach for a Gibson Les Paul. Reason number 1 is the sound. So Les Pauls are just, they have just the most amazing sound. Everything rings very cleanly on a Les Paul. Lots of definition between every note. I find this to be really dynamic. So they ring out really nicely. The other thing about Les Pauls are they really rock out like nothing else. Another reason why I grabbed these guitars is because they're really compact feeling. They feel smaller. It's part of the scale length. It's 24 3/4, I think it is, the scale length. But they just reach. They're so much easier to play. The notes are just, the frets are just slightly more compact. Just slightly easier to get to. And after a little bit, it makes very light work of a gig. So that's another reason. Reason number 3, they're very versatile. They're such a versatile guitar. If you put it in the middle, okay, you've got access to 2 tones and 2 volumes from 2 pickups. If you've got nice pickups that are quite low output, so I have these pickups here that are they're known as a PAF style, so paint and applied for style pickup, and you can get these standard on the Les Paul standards. If I want to add a bit of treble, I can drop down my bass a bit, but still have some of that low bass. Or I could take the treble off. Really nice. Really easy to play as a guitar. Number 4. It's got lots of adjustability. So these guitars are, and it's the same with a lot of the Gibson style, the adjustability is fab. So you've got this Tunematic bridge. If you want to adjust the height of the strings for your action, you've got 2 wheels that can do that. Really simple. You could adjust the height. You've got something here in the stop bar. You can adjust the tension of the string, so how tight it feels. You can go from the bottom upwards and that will feel a certain way, or you could go and you could top wrap it and that will feel a different way. It'll feel a bit looser on the strings. You could also adjust these for the intonation to get that intonation just perfect. Modern Gibsons come with something called the Nashville bridge. So the Nashville bridge is a little bit wider, but you can move your saddles further. You've got more access. If you have the ABR1, which I've got an aftermarket Faber ABR1 here, this goes into the guitar slightly differently, giving a little bit more sustain. But it also means that your strings aren't necessarily touching the bottom when you go through here, so it can limit string breakage. Again, something like that is really practical and just makes your Gibson so easy to dial in. And if you, when you're touring, like I do some tours where I'll have to choose, like basically I'll get to, I don't fly out with my guitar. I meet my guitar when I get to the venue, and they normally hire it out. If that happens, I ask for a Gibson, normally a 335 or an Epiphone 335. I'm happy with either really. When I get there, it takes a couple of minutes just to get that set up perfectly, and you can intonate it and everything just with, you know, the stuff that you've got with you. You don't need a lot of tools. There's some great videos as well from Gibson on how to set your guitar up using pennies and the different kind of width of those. So that's really useful. Number 5, it's a really beautiful thing. So what you've got here is a really unique instrument. And I'll tell you why it's unique. It's because there's so many natural ingredients making this. So you've got 2 pieces of maple on the top. So these pieces of maple don't look the same as any other pieces of maple. There's a special kind of pattern going on this one where it sort of flattens out. Now technically this is a plus top. So when you open it up it says it's a plus top. But I've seen prettier sort of burst patterns, but I can't stop looking at this. And everywhere you look, the shape and the colours of the top change. So it's a really beautiful thing. It's got a really beautiful patina to it. It's nitrocellulose lacquer that will age in a certain way. The hardware is all made of like, it's got like a nickel plating to it, so it'll age sort of with the rest of it. This guitar is nearly 20 years old, and the inlays are starting to age. The binding has aged. I've got cracks in the binding around here, and then I've also got bits of checking where the finish has started to sort of age, and it just adds to the air of uniqueness with this guitar. So every Les Paul's like that. Every Les Paul weighs differently as well. They're all a slightly different weight. This is quite a light one. This weighs less than my Stratocaster. It's sort of like £7.4 or something. I think that's how much I weighed when I was born. It's that kind of weight. You really do get that feel of exclusivity with a Gibson, purely because these instruments are all kind of, yes, they're made in factories, but there's a handmade feel to it. And I really like that as somebody who chases the guitar that makes you feel special. This definitely does that, and it does it in spades. That would be the 5th one, and that 5th one really just makes the guitar really special. And I think all Gibson Les Pauls are very special. All Gibson Les Pauls are very different. And you could go and try, you know, 20 Les Pauls and they will all feel different. You'll just, the more you try, the more you feel that they're slightly different, the more you go for different things. I mean, the binding and the die on the neck are bleeding into each other on this guitar. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's just a really nice guitar. They all have a stamped serial number in the back of the headstock. And they all just they age in a way that if you ding this guitar, it's not so much of a problem, because there's a big part of me that's just going to keep this forever, you know. And even if it does have a ding, it's not going to devalue it as much as, say, if it was a PRS or if it was another brand where you want to cherish that guitar and just keep it absolutely pristine. So that's why I reach for a Les Paul, and I'm sure many other people have different reasons as well. I'd love to know what you think in the comments, and do you have any experiences like this? If you like these videos, please subscribe and let me know in the comments what you think.